Taurus, you were never born to spend your life proving that you deserve good things. Your worth was planted into you from the very beginning, as naturally as rich soil holds the promise of growth before anything has even bloomed. The abundance drawing closer now is not a reward for suffering or a prize for getting every step right. It feels more like the return of something ancient, something your spirit recognized long before you ever learned to doubt yourself. So many people, especially Taurus souls, were taught that safety only came through holding on tightly, that comfort had to be earned through exhaustion, and that value depended on constant effort. Yet those beliefs were never truly yours. They were passed down quietly through generations, shaped by fear, survival, and the pressure to measure worth through struggle. Those stories settled deeply into families, cultures, and even the nervous system itself, teaching people to brace for limitation instead of trusting in steady support. But you did not come here to keep carrying that pattern forward. Something within you remembers another way of living, one rooted in trust instead of constant guarding. You are not running after abundance now. You are slowly returning to a truth that has been alive inside you all along, like roots beneath warm earth waiting for the season to change. What once felt distant is beginning to feel familiar again. Close your eyes for a moment and take one slow, grounding breath. Picture yourself standing beneath a stream of golden sunlight, pouring through open branches, warm and steady against your skin. The light moves over you softly, like silk heated by the early summer sun, carrying a feeling of calm expansion through every part of you. Inside that warmth lives everything that was always meant for you, including peace, wisdom, emotional stability, creative energy, and the kind of prosperity that feels deeply rooted instead of temporary. Nothing in that flow needs to be borrowed, bargained for, or proven worthy of receiving. With every breath, you are reconnecting to the version of yourself that existed before fear convinced you that survival had to come first. This is not about becoming someone new. It is about remembering the natural rhythm your spirit carried before the world taught you to shrink your desires or question your value. You are allowing yourself to return home to your own energy again. You do not need to exhaust yourself chasing money or force abundance through fear-driven effort. What matters now is learning how to soften enough to receive what already recognizes you. Let your thoughts, your body, and your nervous system settle into the understanding that you are allowed to hold stability, joy, comfort, and overflow without guilt. You were not designed only to survive difficult seasons. You were built to grow beyond them. The truth is that no one outside of you controls your relationship with prosperity. Not your past, not your circumstances, not the voices that once made you feel small. This moment is not asking you to rush. It is asking you to realign with the way you speak about yourself and your future. Pay attention to the quiet phrases that leave your lips when you talk about money, possibility, or your own potential, because those words shape the emotional atmosphere you continue living inside. When you repeat things like, "money never stays," or "I'll probably always struggle," those thoughts settle into your spirit like seeds planted over and over again. Life begins reflecting the energy you continue feeding, not as punishment, but as response. Yet you can begin shifting that pattern now. Speak differently to yourself. Let new words take root where fear once lived. My worth is steady. Prosperity flows toward me naturally. I am open to receiving what supports my life. Allow those words to settle into your body slowly, like rain soaking into dry ground. Let them shape your energy until abundance no longer feels distant or reserved for someone else. Because the moment you begin seeing yourself as someone who belongs within the flow of prosperity, life starts responding differently around you. That change is not fantasy. It is resonance, the quiet law of what expands when it is finally welcomed. Trust that your soul never came here to stay trapped inside scarcity. It came here to remember how to open again. The key has never been far from you. It has been resting quietly within your own hands this entire time, like a seed waiting for warmth, breath, and care before it begins to bloom. Somewhere along the way, you learned to protect yourself from disappointment by expecting less, dimming your hopes before life had the chance to wound them. You lowered your expectations not because your light disappeared, but because part of you believed visibility might invite pain. Over time, that protection became so familiar it stopped feeling temporary and started feeling like your identity. Yet scarcity was never your true nature. It was a role shaped by fear and inherited survival, something placed over your spirit long before you understood you were allowed to set it down. And now, this is the moment where you begin setting some of that weight down. Picture yourself standing quietly before a mirror, reaching toward a layer of protection you have carried for far too long. It feels heavy, like dried earth and weathered metal resting against your skin after years of trying to stay safe. As you slowly loosen each layer, you begin releasing beliefs that never truly belonged to your spirit in the first place. Thoughts like, "I have to overwork just to feel secure," or "if I slow down, everything will collapse," were never your deepest truth. Those fears grew from environments shaped by survival, from generations that learned how to endure before they ever learned how to rest. Over time, those patterns settled deeply into the nervous system until struggle started feeling normal. What once protected you slowly became something you carried without even noticing anymore. Like armor that stayed on so long, it began feeling like part of your identity. But Taurus, the energy unfolding around May 28th and 29th, 2026, is beginning to soften those old walls. Venus, your ruling planet, is moving through alignments that encourage grounded growth, emotional renewal, and a gentler relationship with receiving. The atmosphere around these days feels like fertile soil warming beneath sunlight after a long season of cold, creating space for something steady and lasting to finally grow. It feels less like a sudden breakthrough and more like the slow return of warmth after believing winter might never end. This is not about forcing transformation or battling your past. It is about loosening your grip, opening your chest again, and allowing trust to hold you more gently than fear ever could. So pause for a moment and ask yourself honestly, what belief am I still carrying that no longer belongs in the future I want to build? Maybe it is the idea that peace never lasts, or that comfort always has to be earned through pressure and sacrifice. Maybe part of you still believes stability is something fragile that can disappear at any moment. Write that belief down in one sentence, then fold the paper with gratitude instead of anger, because even those fears once tried to protect you during seasons when safety mattered more than expansion. When you feel ready, release it safely, and imagine that old story leaving your body with the smoke. This moment is more than symbolic. It tells your deeper self that you are no longer choosing to remain trapped inside the same emotional cycles. You are creating room for something softer, steadier, and more nourishing to take root where fear once settled. Now return gently to the practical side of your life, not with pressure, but with awareness. Begin observing your relationship with money from a place of understanding instead of judgment. Spend a little time noticing where your energy goes, how you spend, what you avoid, and what emotions rise when you think about stability and support. Clarity is not punishment. It is one of the kindest forms of honesty you can offer yourself. Start seeing money less as a source of stress and more as a relationship that responds to care and attention. Ask yourself whether you hold it too tightly, push it away, or pretend not to care while secretly fearing its absence. Imagine how things could shift if you approached prosperity the way you would tend a garden, patiently, consistently, and with trust in slow but steady growth. The smallest changes often become the roots of the biggest transformations later on. As you soften your relationship with receiving, begin rebuilding confidence in small but meaningful ways. Learn something that expands your sense of possibility. Revisit a gift you once ignored, seek guidance, or allow yourself to share your talents more openly. Abundance responds to movement, especially the kind rooted in intention rather than desperation. And Taurus, when you begin moving from that grounded place, life often starts responding in ways that feel gentle, surprising, and deeply aligned. You are not failing. You are unfolding into a fuller version of yourself. Every layer you release creates more space for your real nature to emerge, the part of you that was never meant to live entirely in defense mode. There will still be quiet seasons when answers move slowly and doors take time to open. But growth does not always happen where the eye can immediately measure it. The universe moves through deeper rhythms than surface timing, and much of what lasts begins beneath visible ground. You have already started loosening the old armor shaped by fear and scarcity. Now comes the softer lesson, learning to trust what has not fully appeared yet and continuing forward even without every answer laid clearly in front of you. Because this is often where real transformation begins, not always through dramatic moments, but through subtle shifts happening quietly beneath your awareness. Imagine yourself standing at the edge of a wide-open landscape, the air warm and carrying the scent of earth after rain. The road ahead curves gently out of sight, yet beyond those unseen turns, something is already being prepared for you while you are still learning how to trust the path beneath your feet. Taurus, even now, unseen forces are quietly rearranging parts of your journey. Certain delays are unfolding with purpose, and some roads are fading away before they can drain your spirit any further. What once felt like rejection may actually have been protection. The opportunities that disappeared, the silence that confused you, and the doors that closed unexpectedly were not meaningless endings. They were creating space for something steadier and more aligned with the life trying to reach you now. One of the hardest lessons to trust is that you do not need to see every step ahead for the direction to still be right. Growth often unfolds the way roots spread beneath the earth, quietly and invisibly, before anything blooms above the surface. And during all of this, life has likely been leaving you small reminders that you are not moving through these changes alone. Maybe you keep noticing repeating numbers like 888 or 777, hearing the same phrase from different people, or feeling unexpectedly emotional when certain dreams, animals, or moments appear around you. These are not meaningless coincidences. They feel more like quiet echoes reaching toward your awareness, asking you to slow down long enough to notice what your spirit already senses beneath the noise of everyday life. If these signs have been appearing around you lately, pause and acknowledge them. Write them down, speak them aloud. Treat them like gentle conversations between you and the unseen energy helping guide your next chapter forward. And if you feel like you have not noticed any signs yet, begin with openness instead of pressure. Simply tell yourself, I am open to guidance. I trust what I cannot fully see yet. Trust does not always arrive all at once. Sometimes it begins as a quiet willingness to believe there may be more happening beneath the surface than your eyes can currently confirm. Think about a time when something painful fell apart in your life, but later revealed itself as redirection towards something healthier, safer, or more meaningful than what existed before. Most people carry moments like that somewhere in their story, even if they only understand their meaning much later. If one of those memories is rising inside you now, share it in the comments below. Someone else reading your words may recognize themselves in your experience and feel less alone because of it. Taurus, through every quiet season and every moment when you wondered whether life had forgotten you, something greater was still moving ahead of you, gently preparing the way. The more you trust what cannot yet be fully explained, the easier it becomes to recognize the language life has been using all along. Not through loud answers, but through patterns, timing, repeated symbols, and quiet inner knowing. Over these next few days, pay attention to what keeps repeating around you, because small moments may begin carrying unusual emotional weight, almost as if life is softly placing pieces together where confusion once lived. Life often speaks through rhythm, repeated images, and moments that feel too perfectly timed to ignore. And the more you notice them, the more supported you may begin to feel emotionally, creatively, financially, and even within your own confidence. If 111 keeps appearing around you, it carries the energy of new beginnings, like the first warm light touching a field after a long winter. It is a reminder that the right moment to move forward may already be arriving. Then there is 888, deeply connected to steady abundance and sustainable prosperity. Its message is not only about money, but about learning that what truly belongs to you no longer needs to be chased endlessly. You may also notice 444 appearing during uncertain moments, bringing reassurance that support still surrounds you, even when life feels quiet and still. And then there is 1155, a rarer sequence that often appears when larger shifts connected to purpose and prosperity are beginning to unfold beneath the surface. If it keeps showing up around you, it may feel as though life itself is gently reminding you that you are more prepared for this next chapter than you realize. But Taurus, numbers are only one part of the language surrounding you right now. Over the next few days, try to move through life a little more slowly and pay attention to the quieter ways the universe may be reaching toward you. Some signs arrive so gently they can disappear beneath noise, distraction, or overthinking. You may overhear someone casually say something that answers a question you have been carrying privately in your heart, or a topic you have been silently researching may suddenly appear in conversation without you ever mentioning it aloud. When moments like that happen, pause for a second instead of brushing them aside. Ask yourself why those exact words arrived when they did, and why they stirred something inside you so quickly. Other signs may arrive through nature, familiar symbols, or small details that keep repeating until you can no longer ignore them. You might notice images connected to Taurus, like a bull or ox, appearing unexpectedly in different places, or certain colors such as deep greens, earthy browns, and warm golden light surrounding you more often than usual. At first, these things may seem ordinary, but sometimes the spirit recognizes meaning before the mind fully understands it. Nature has always carried a quiet language, and there are moments when even a passing image or feeling can awaken something that has been sleeping inside you for a very long time. The strongest signs, though, are often the ones that rise from within. A sudden pull to reconnect with someone from your past, an unexpected idea arriving with complete clarity, or a feeling that gently settles into your chest without explanation, may all be forms of intuition trying to guide you forward. It can feel less like thinking and more like remembering something your soul already knows. Fear tends to speak loudly and urgently, but intuition often arrives softly, with a calmness that lingers long after the moment passes. Before you go to sleep each night, give yourself a few quiet minutes without distraction. Let the day settle inside you and ask yourself what kept repeating, what moments held unusual emotional weight, and where you felt subtly guided without fully understanding why. Write down a few things that stood out, even if they seem small, random, or difficult to explain. This simple habit slowly strengthens your trust in the quieter language unfolding around your life. Over time, you begin recognizing meaning before your logical mind has fully organized it into certainty. And Taurus, remember this clearly: you are not being punished by life, and you are not endlessly being tested to prove your worth. You are being shaped into someone who can hold abundance without fear constantly tightening around it. You are learning how to receive support, peace, love, and prosperity without shrinking yourself or feeling guilty for wanting more. The signs appearing around you are not there only to comfort you for a moment. They are gently guiding you toward a version of yourself that finally feels emotionally safe enough to receive what life has been trying to offer. So when these signs appear, do more than simply notice them and move on. Let them influence the next small decision you make. Every time you respond with openness instead of fear, you send a message back to the universe that says, you are ready for a kind of prosperity that truly matches the person you are becoming. And little by little, something inside your world begins loosening in the gentlest possible way. The synchronicities, repeated patterns, and quiet nudges start gathering around you more naturally, like birds settling softly across an open field at sunrise. Life slowly stops feeling like something you must constantly wrestle into place through exhaustion and worry. Instead, it begins feeling like something willing to meet you halfway, something that responds when you soften your grip instead of tightening it. And within that softening, another energy begins growing stronger inside you. Gratitude. Gratitude is far more powerful than a passing positive thought. It creates openness within the nervous system and reminds your spirit that support already exists around you, even if not every answer has fully arrived yet. Sometimes abundance appears through financial stability, but other times it arrives through clarity, emotional peace, supportive relationships, meaningful opportunities, renewed creativity, or simply the feeling of finally breathing easier after a long season of tension. That does not mean pretending difficult things are no longer real. It means reconnecting yourself to what steadies and nourishes you, even while uncertainty still exists around you. Maybe it is the calm beauty of nature, a book that shifts your perspective, a conversation that makes you feel deeply understood, or the comfort of creating a peaceful space inside your home where your nervous system can finally rest. The more attention you give to what genuinely restores your spirit, the more life seems to echo that same energy back toward you. What you consistently appreciate begins expanding in your awareness. What you nurture with care often grows stronger. But gratitude alone is not the final destination. It is the doorway that opens you toward purpose. So ask yourself honestly, if prosperity fully entered your life today, what would you truly want it to support? Would you build a calmer and more meaningful life for yourself and the people you love? Would you invest in healing, creativity, beauty, or something that leaves a lasting impact long after you are gone? When money becomes connected to purpose instead of fear, everything about your relationship with abundance begins to change. It stops feeling like something distant that only belongs to other people. Instead, it begins responding to the emotional stability, intention, and trust you are building within yourself. Taurus, you are already creating that inner foundation now through self-awareness, gratitude, emotional honesty, and the quiet daily decision to recognize your own worth more deeply than before. If you want to begin in a simple way, start with small rituals that help your spirit feel supported instead of pressured. Each morning, write down a few things you genuinely appreciate, especially the smaller moments most people rush past without noticing. Warm sunlight through a window, a calm conversation, laughter returning after stress, a peaceful evening at home, or the feeling of your body finally relaxing after carrying too much tension for too long. Then each evening, pause for one slow breath and quietly thank life for what is already moving toward you, even if you cannot fully see it yet. These simple rituals slowly teach your nervous system that it no longer has to prepare for disappointment every moment of the day. They help your body remember what safety feels like, and most importantly, release the guilt you may still carry around, wanting more from life. There is nothing selfish about desiring peace, stability, beauty, comfort, or abundance when your heart wants to use those blessings to create something meaningful and lasting. Wealth does not have to become something heavy or dangerous in your hands. In the right hands, it can become healing, freedom, generosity, creativity, and support that reaches far beyond your own life. Sometimes the very thing you long to create is also the very thing the world quietly needs from you. And now, Taurus, you are standing at an important threshold within yourself. The shift happening now is not because the universe suddenly changed its mind about your future. It is because you are finally remembering that the door was never truly locked against you in the first place. The question is no longer whether abundance can find you. The real question is whether you are ready to stop waiting for some future version of yourself to finally feel worthy enough to receive it now. Abundance is not as far away as fear once convinced you it was. It is much closer than you think, waiting for you to stop treating it like something separate from who you already are becoming. So ask yourself gently, what is one thing you can do today that honors the version of you who already feels abundant inside? Maybe it is creating a peaceful space in your home, releasing an old belief about your worth, allowing yourself to rest without guilt, or simply placing your hand over your heart and whispering softly, "I am open now, and I am safe to receive." Take a quiet moment to reflect on what abundance truly means to you and the kind of life you want it to support. Let those answers shape the way you speak to yourself, the way you notice opportunities, and the way you care for your energy moving forward. And if this message resonated with you, share the repeating number that has been appearing around you lately, whether it is 888, 777, 111, or another sign that keeps finding its way into your life. If your heart feels ready, write this affirmation in the comments. I am ready to receive the abundance I no longer have to chase. Let those words settle into you like a quiet promise. And thank you for being here, for listening all the way through, and for allowing space for healing, reflection, and growth. If this message spoke to something real inside you, remember to like the video, subscribe, and share it with someone who may need these words today. May your spirit continue moving toward the kind of prosperity that feels grounded, peaceful, and deeply aligned with who you are becoming. And as this new season begins opening around you, remember that the key was never missing. It has been resting within you all along.